we worked with the Lumbic team to build a new website for our company, Flamingo Marine. We are a boating company here in the U.S., but we also have stems in Europe and other places like that. And we're announcing our first new boat here currently. But basically, the website in its current state is pretty simple. We have a full screen top hero. We have a floating nav. The top hero is video or image option. Then we have copy here. Then we have a Vimeo video here that we integrated. Section about the team, and then we have a leadership section here as well. This is actually version 3 of the work that the team at Lombic did. The original site I don't have because you have marketers and they change their mind all the time, as I'm sure you're well aware. So we've now redesigned the site 3 times, and this is the, God willing, final version of it. But if I hop in the back end, we're using quite a bit of custom plugins for this. So let me actually bring up the code. So when we worked with Lombic, they created a baseline Flamingo Electric, which is their actually.
Excuse me, can you zoom out?
Yeah.
Can you zoom in, sorry? So this editor, and also when you go back to the website.
Okay, sure. All right, so within the common plugin structure, we actually have a number of base modules within this. Some of which we're not currently using because they're not, I can't really zoom this in, I don't think. Maybe this in more, but hopefully y'all can see that. Each one of these is unique and does have a unique button function, down to the button widgets. Let me actually go to the migrations. We did it a little bit differently. We did not make a unique module per feature, but we did it all as part of a common set with mainly only migrations and models. The only ones that actually have services are going to be our policy services that we have for providers like Google Tag Manager, and our REST countries content security policies. And then we also have a few settings in here, but the majority of it is driven mainly through migrations, which was a lot easier. I'm actually a longtime Orchard user. I worked at Live Nation, and I had actually built the original Live Nation clubs and theater sites on Orchard 1.0, and we had about 100 websites running on that, and have since moved on into other ventures. So I tend to come back to Orchard quite often because I'm pretty familiar with it and really enjoy working with it. But this was a new way of working for me. I'm not used to having everything built into one structure like this, and I thought this was really cool and clean that they set us up this way. And it made it a lot easier for my small team because it's literally me, myself, and one other person on this team to be able to go in and make not only modifications but updates as we needed. Some of which were we did create this, the Vimeo security policies. We did rewrite the hero function set over here to be based on Vimeo and not just standard videos, because we were originally streaming our videos off HubSpot, but they were not optimized. So we ended up supporting Vimeo as a secondary set or an update from the initial migration, so that we can then have Vimeo code run through that. So that was one of the later things we've done. And then again, within the theme, they did build a custom theme for us based off of the base Lombic theme. Within that, we of course have all of our views, each of which is driving the module that we have within the location, as well as assets for all of our scripts and styles. The good news is that all of this is individual SCSS files, and they did set us up for success by combining all these and processing these all down into a single file. I've worked with the Lombic team a number of times. I've worked with them at Live Nation. I've worked with them at a previous company. I work with them now, and they understand that while I do know how to code, I'm not quite as efficient as they are in a lot of these areas. So they did set us up for success from end to end, all the way to the Azure stand-up where we have staging and production, and the entire pipeline there is almost brainless to work with. So we've been pretty excited about that. But it's a pretty simple site, right? We're not doing anything too terribly fancy here. If I go back to the site, you'll see that we just currently have a homepage. Originally, there was going to be a lot more of this homepage, but due to licensing and things along those lines, they decided to limit it for now and just focus on some of the key aspects of it. One of the other areas that we just finished up was our contact us page. Contact. Let me go here. Content items, contact. you. Sorry. Yeah, so we have a full contact page here that we just set up. The developer that I am working with is currently in Spain. We work together at Live Nation, and he's actually integrated all of this through HubSpot as well. So originally, when I had the Lombic team build this out, they built all of this core functionality to this, but I asked them to not worry about sending it any location. But now we've set it up so that all the data from here goes into HubSpot, and we set them all up for marketing contacts if they submit, with further contacts and everything else there. Sign up form, same thing. This goes into HubSpot. So first name, last name, email, country, all that data goes in, and we then add them to the subscription list. And we also have the ability to reserve either a gas or a electric boat, which is not announced yet, which takes us over to Stripe, and we're just using the Stripe standard packaging for that for now. We're going to ultimately rebuild this and have this internally controlled. The goal is to have this be a full-fledged site, obviously, where we have a configurator for our boats, down to what color seats you want, what color you want your panels to be, with all the information as we start to extend across further boats, full nav, and the whole 9 yards. So this is just sort of a starting place for us. We're really excited to get moving with Orchard again. Orchard Core, I should say this time, because it's the first time I've used Orchard Core, and excited to see where we can take this. So kind of high level. I mean, not a whole lot to see, but I was really proud to work with the Lombic guys. Unfortunately, I don't think any of them are here right now.
Yeah, so many, but not the ones you worked with, maybe.
No, I think Milos was right there.
I am here. I worked on the cruiser and on some of the widgets that were on the previous version.
Yep. And all of the work that was done previously is still being used. So the only things that we ended up changing with the design would be front end pieces, and some back end pieces where we created, again, like these Vimeo parts and some other extensions of what was already there. But 98% of the existing site is still built off of everything that the Lombic team we did. So not only is it solid, but super versatile and allows us to extend it and to really take it to the next level. And we've been pretty excited about that. I don't know how these things usually go, so hey, y'all have any questions? I'm happy to answer anything I can.
I have. So first I had to Google what is a pontoon, and now I know that you are selling boats. Okay.
Yes.
Because pontoons are a specific kind of boats. Now I know that. For you it was obvious, but I'm like, what is this website about? I see a cover like a sheet on something. I don't know what it is. And second question is technical this time.
Yes.
I see that in your models, it's like class first. Like for each content type, you have a model class, and I like to see a simple one and the migration associated to it, just to see if there is a reference to the class in the migration.
Yeah, so let's pick, if you want to do a simple one. All right, here's the image widget. Cool. It's pretty simple. Nothing too overly complex about this one. And then if we go to the image widget migration, there is the migration that we have for that.
So is there a name of somewhere or the type? So what was the name of the?
Name of image widget down here.
Okay, I see. Name of image widget. So, okay. And then the field, probably same thing. With field, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we did our work at Live Nation, a lot of this was not driven in the migrations. We were actually creating a lot of custom admin views, which was highly complex and probably unnecessary. And I had never really done it to this level of detail. And when we worked with Lombic and they kind of threw this over the fence, I was like, this is amazing. I didn't know you could have this level of control within the migration. So it really kind of opened up our eyes to understand a little more how we could create these modules simpler without having to build all the various parts that we were typically doing, even down to some pretty complex ones. Let's see if I have one that's a little bit more complex.
That being code makes it reproducible.
Yeah.
So you can reset everything and relaunch the code, and it will recreate everything. That is more useful than from the UI, for instance.
Correct. Yep. This one, no. We did one, I think it was a specification. Yeah, so this one again was a little bit more complex. It actually has multiple parts that we're reading into it. So the specification widget, specification item, and then we're just essentially building this all out of these two different model sets that we have down there. So it again, for me, it was just much simpler. It was again, kind of like an eye-opening experience. To be able to not have to worry about creating all these admin UIs and custom forms and custom layouts and everything just to get the editability in place. It was a win-win.
Awesome. Thank you.